Welcome, everybody, back to Scrumptious Unscripted with Kat and Pappy, and we're still discussing FanExpo. If
I'm fancy now.
I had a tie, I'd throw it.
I am fancy.
Oh,
I've
so
been
fun.
watching now that MasterChef season is over, I've been watching it from the beginning, and the fashion designer has to be one of my favorite characters
Oh,
of all
he was
time.
so much fun, though. But we're already getting off topic, and we haven't even landed on topic,
Eh,
which is par for us,
yeah,
frankly.
it's only 30 seconds off topic. That's still pretty good. So, Sunday at FanExpo
Sunday.
Toronto, Canada, where you have gone to bed around 5:30 in the morning and probably woken up at 7 knowing you.
Yeah, I got actually no, it was 8 because we had to check out at 9, which is going to lead me to a short rant about the Sheraton hotel that we initially stayed at. Well, that's where my group stayed at. I went and hopped ship and roomed with Doris and Kelly for Sunday night because I was over it. Like, hi, people I met yesterday. I don't recommend that you do that with strangers unless you're a really good judge of character, but I felt like I could take them.
Yeah, or just confident that you can take them in a fight.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, the Sheraton we stayed at, the AC barely worked if and when it was working.
Not to
Uh,
sell more water.
no, that was at the convention. That's a whole separate. We'll touch on that in a second. Because, yeah, there were a lot of unhappy vendors there. And it's one thing to have unhappy attendees, but it's another thing to piss off your vendors because
Yep.
they're bringing in the
Yep,
money.
I follow some people who were at vendors at that convention, and they were not happy all weekend.
Yeah, well, no, we'll touch on that now since we're talking about air conditioning. The rumor flying around, and I have no confirmations from this. I did like kind of poke a couple of staffers that I had become pretty familiar with over the weekend. They were selling bottles of water at the event for $4. And apparently they had a quota that they were supposed to be selling every day. And after Friday, that wasn't happening because there were also vendors outside
Selling water.
selling water for $2 a bottle.
Yeah, it's called being smart.
Yep. So the rumor being, because I don't want to put anybody on blast because I don't know for sure. So I'm going to say the rumor being that they were turning the air conditioning off inside the convention center in hopes of selling more water.
I personally hope that's not true because the level of evil required to do something like that is incredible.
This was also on Saturday, and just number of people in the building, because they have to count the people coming in the building for fire code reasons.
Yeah, yeah.
They were just shy of capacity for the building, which my understanding is 175,000 people.
Jesus. I can't even
So,
imagine. That's 17 times larger than my hometown.
right? It's like, whoa, wait a minute. But yeah, so you also have to take into account that if you have that many people in a building, even though this building is massive and vast,
It's going to create heat.
it's going to raise the ambient temperature of the building.
But if you do
And
this every year, you should know how to handle it and
well,
cope with
the other thing too being it was 98 degrees outside. So between the external temp, that amount of people in the building,
it. Which is, it's fair. It's fair that it could have been intentional, but it was probably, hopefully, just a thing that happened, a coincidence of it being pretty damn hot for Canada.
yeah, I mean, Toronto was on a heat advisory the whole weekend. The coolest temperature that it got down to, like when we were going back to the hotel at 5 a.m., which feasibly it should be the coolest it's going to be,
Yeah.
it was 86 degrees.
So,
As
Vegas
the
temperatures.
nighttime low. Well, yeah, except it was like 80 something percent humidity too. It was just
So Mississippi
oppressive.
temperatures.
Yeah,
In that shit anyway. It sucks.
exactly.
It definitely sucks. But I'm assuming you actually had some fun on Sunday that you want to talk about.
Yes, I did have fun on Sunday. I just felt I really needed to blast the Sheraton, which then snowballed. The other thing with the Sheraton is we had no hot water for 4 days.
That's inexcusable.
That's exactly how I felt about it. But they were like, oh, well, you're on the construction floor and you have to expect these mishaps to occur. And I was like, and you have to expect that I have an audience on social media that's going to hear all about it.
You have to expect that I'm going to expect that you do something about it, motherfucker.
Yeah,
Like,
well, those weren't my decisions to make because I was not the room holder.
I would have raised hell for at least a discount. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, that's a whole separate.
$20 off for no hot water.
Or how about comp my $53 a day parking?
I'm sorry, my mic's in the way.
You want to make sure they get the full view of the slack jaw there, yeah.
I'm looking at my. I can't, keep looking at my.
I paid more in parking than I did, or more in parking, excuse me, for one day than I did for my split on the hotel room for the weekend.
And more than food too, right?
Yeah. So the moral of the story is don't drive to Toronto.
Yeah.
Or do the outside the city park-in rides.
Okay.
You know, you got to kind of treat it like New York City. But whatever, it was my learning experience. I got it all locked down for next year. So yeah, so I jumped ship and I went to Doris and Kelly's room because they had hot water and AC.
Yeah.
So, and I was sleeping on a floor in either room, so it was cool.
So that part doesn't really matter.
Yeah, exactly. That part didn't change. I don't know why my cord keeps wanting to jump out here, but anyway, I think I might have unplugged it. Hold on. There we go. There we go. I might have ripped it out of the computer. So anyway, so Sunday was, you know, kind of the wind down day as far as panels go.
Some of the last minute panels, some of the afterthoughts, a few of the people who just couldn't make it on Saturday because of commitments.
Exactly. Now what I did was the celebrities that were left, because there were certainly a lot of celebrities that were there for like one day. Like Ming Na Wen was there for Saturday only, and then she was gone. So I just took the opportunity because, like I said, it was wind down day. So I'm looking, and there's tons of celebrities with signing lines that are like 2 people deep. So I'm like, well, shit, I'm just going to go up and meet some of the people that I didn't get to meet because if I had stayed at the glow party a couple hours longer, I would have met Orlando Jones that morning.
Because it was still going on in the morning.
Well, I guess, no, he was heading to the convention center, and Doris and Kelly bumped into him, and that's all I heard about. You should have been there to join us for coffee. Boo. So I went and stood in Orlando Jones' meet and greet line just so I could be like, yeah, I'm friends with the lion ladies, because there's a giant lion statue in front of the hotel. And he took pictures with the 2 of them in front of the big lions, so they were the lion ladies. And I was like, yeah, I'm friends with the lion ladies, and they've been rubbing it in my face all day that I missed coffee and I didn't get to meet you, so I thought I'd rectify that problem. And, oh my gosh, he's such a sweetheart, though. Like, I mean, just very personable and, like, handsy and not a weird way. He's like gonna grab, you know, like grab your hand, shake your hand. He's not afraid to touch people. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know how to say that accurately, but
Yeah, that's good.
He was super cool. And yeah, so we were sitting there chit-chatting for a few minutes.
And I hear while you were talking to him, you got to encounter another celebrity due to the conversation.
Well, that happened to me twice, actually, because next to Orlando Jones was Jason Momoa, who is going to be playing Aquaman, or, as Game of Thrones people will know him, as Khal Drogo. Yes. And Orlando Jones and I were talking about wedding cakes, as you do, and how nowadays you really have to have contracts for any sort of wedding-related stuff because a lot of wedding parties are very sue happy, and this is the world we live in.
Yeah.
And Jason Momoa leaned over and he was like, "That's bullshit." Like, thanks. Thank you. I agree. You want to get on a platform and a soapbox and like proclaim that for me? That'd be great.
Because they'll see him a lot better than they'd see you.
Yeah, exactly. He's much taller than I am. Uh, much taller than I am. But yeah, so then I went to meet the lovely Steve Bloom because when I worked for a convention, booking people, celebrities, what have you, I booked him 3 years in a row and I never got to meet him.
Because that's what happens when you work for a convention. You get to do
Yeah.
all the hard work and take none of the spoils in.
None of the spoils of it. So again, it was one of those, it was like, oh shit, he's right there. Like, I'm going to go stand online and meet him and like golden unicorn thing, you know, achievement unlocked, like actually meet Steve Bloom.
Na 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 na.
It was funny because his assistant recognized me. Because her and I had spent so many hours on Skype and on the phone and everything. And she was just like, oh my God, hi, I didn't know you were in Canada.
I'm not.
I'm not. I'm just here. I'm just visiting, eating all the poutine. So I got to meet Steve, and I explained to him like the circumstance and whatnot, and he's like, "Oh yeah, no, it's super awesome to meet you. Like, let me sign something for you. Like, I miss doing that convention that I'm not gonna name for reasons." And there was another voice actor who I feel like maybe I shouldn't name.
No, we'll just keep them anonymous. Just
Yeah.
that voice actor's kind of a tool.
Yeah. So, some comments were made between Steve and I, like insider info comments, and they may or may not had to do with the voice actor who is such a proprietor of situational awareness, was just throwing that to the wind and essentially shit-talking the dude who's right there. And yeah, he had some words to say to me, but I'm okay with that. It's like I accept the.
For you kind of finally got to get them off your chest.
Yeah, I really did. And again, I'm not naming names on anything. Steve knows who I was talking about.
That's all that matters.
That guy who was really upset that I was talking about him knows who I was talking about. So, the pertinent parties are informed, and that's as far as I'm going to go. And if you were at FanExpo and you know who was sitting to the left of Steve Bloom, then good on you.
So, aside from meeting some of the celebrities, did you hit up any other panels or anything like that on Sunday?
I hit up a couple of the pre-screenings. I got to go do a pre-screening for Cooties with Elijah Wood.
Yeah, and because of you telling me about that movie, I saw Hellions last weekend instead of Cooties.
See, if I had known that that's where I was steering you, I might have said go with Cooties, but...
No, I enjoyed Hellions, and basically you did not give a bad review of Cooties, but you gave an honest review that it may not be the comedy horror that it was being advertised as.
Yeah, it had comedic parts to it. I feel like really portions of the acting fell flat for me.
I feel like with that thing, you need to really commit to the dark comedy side.
Yeah, it was too campy sometimes. Like, and as I said to Pappy when I was giving him my 5-minute rundown of it, for me, it's just not a full price. Like, I'm content with it because I got free tickets to go see it on a pre-screen. Like, that's cool. I'm not going to complain about that. But would I go pay it for it in theaters? Would I recommend that somebody goes and pays for it in theaters? No.
Yeah. So instead of paying $12 to see it in the theater, I paid $7 to see Hellions at home, and hopefully the review will be up at Drunk Monkeys once I finish writing it.
Yeah, we're so good at this on-time, enthusiastic fucking shit, aren't we?
Yeah. School homework is terrible. Don't go to school when you're in your 30s. It sucks.
I'm just going to cut that so it's don't go to school.
Don't go to school.
Yeah.
Just become a YouTuber. It's so easy.
Life advice. Don't go to school. Fuck that shit.
You can wear a tie whenever you want.
Yeah, exactly. Or, you can wear awesome freaking Game of Thrones hoodies. This was my big Sunday purchase. This was my one thing that I really
Yeah,
had
because
to
it was
have.
so cold in Canada that you needed that jacket.
It was not that I needed it then, but
It's that this you needed it.
well,
You
no,
needed it.
it was a FanExpo exclusive.
Yeah, and it's your
So,
favoritist. So
yeah, and it's got my
need it.
favorite of the Starks, and it's got a big wolf on the back. But I'll put a picture of that instead of knocking my entire setup over trying to show it. Right.
And so I got to go get the Stannis hoodie.
Uh,
I just watched your smile end.
yeah.
You're
That
like,
just went. That just went from yay to resting bitch face in like no time
like,
flat.
I know he's joking, but that no.
That's not funny.
So anyhow,
But yeah, I got to meet lots of neat artists. I got to meet a lot of horror FX makeup designers. I missed Tom Savini.
which sucks, but you'll see him 15 times in movies come October.
I know, right? I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure he's gonna pop up in this. So
Oh,
that's
Halloween
nice.
anthology. Do you want me in one of them or all of them?
Yeah, how many would you like? Thank you.
Yeah, it's funny. You tend to forget he works a lot behind the camera.
Yeah, he works. I mean, he
Probably more behind the camera, but he's so iconic as a bit part in every good horror movie. You know, he's not the lead in any, but he's
no.
in all of them.
Yeah, he's just gonna be like that guy that's in it for like a couple of like snarky, punchy moments, and then he's either dead or
He was the bad guy in the first version of Dawn of the Dead.
yeah.
You know, he had the gun codpiece.
From dusk till dawn.
I know he showed up in the remake of Dawn of the Dead too.
Yes, he did. But he showed up as a zombie, I believe.
Yeah, but still, he was in it.
I believe he was zombie Burt Reynolds when they were playing the celebrity game.
That might have been.
I think he was
It's been a while
zombie
since I've
Burt
seen it.
Reynolds.
But yeah, but believe it or not, that man that you see all the time does a lot of behind the camera work.
Oh yeah, well, and he runs his own FX school and
Yeah,
like
not studio, school.
yeah, school. Like go to that school. Fuck the other schools. Go to Tom Savini's school.
Yeah, don't go to school unless it's his.
Unless it's Tom Savini's, then you can go to school. You have our permission to go to school. Common sense warning: stay in school, kids.
Yeah, yeah. Don't be like me.
Or me. I went to a school, but I don't know how vocational stacks up in
I have 3 degrees and they're not good enough. Welcome to my world. Oh, that's cute. You have 3 degrees? Well, you need 5.
Yeah. Sucks for you. So, let me wrap up Sunday with how I butt shined Will Smith's car.
That's how you tell a story.
That's how you tell the story right there. So, yeah. So, went to the after party with Miss Doris and Kelly, and we were coming back to the hotel, and being raised properly, there was one bench available, and I gave it to my elders, these awesome ladies, and I decided to lean on the really expensive car in the valet. Next thing I know, there's about a like 7-foot tall giant man going, excuse me, miss, I'm going to need you to back away from Mr. Smith's car. We need to leave. And I'm like, well, certainly I wouldn't want to disrupt Mr. Smith. And it is at that point I step forward and look behind him to see 2 equally massive dudes. And Will Smith in the middle.
Yeah, not Jacob Jingleheimer Smith.
Yeah, no.
Will Smith.
Will Smith. And I'm just like, oh, well, excuse me, Mr. Smith. There was just some dirt on it. I was just buffing it off for you. And his response was, well, it did look a little dirty when we picked it up from the rental office. I'll have to call them about that. So at least he took it in stride. He was very funny. I mean, quick interaction and the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. So he says hi to all three of us and, like, yeah, were you ladies at the Fan Expo? And it's like, yeah, but you weren't on the guest list. And he's like, oh, no, I'm here. We're doing a shoot over there. Little did I know that over there was literally over there. I mean, they drove this car out of the valet, drove maybe 20 yards over, and dropped him off.
Oh yeah, this is the same guy who, remember when shooting Men in Black, insisted on having a trailer, a two-story trailer, including a pool, parked in the road next to where they were filming. It wasn't until the locals complained so much from his diesel engine keeping everyone else awake that he conceded to move 2 blocks. I'm sure he's a wonderful man, but Hollywood has gotten to him to an extent, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, they drove him, and the best part of that was the one security guy went in with him, or excuse me, the two went in with him, and the one guy just walks back across the courtyard while the driver drives the car back. And
So
yeah,
I'm gonna stretch my legs and walk back to the other side of the room.
think I'll get a little exercise and walk this 100 feet. Like
But hey, that's a funny thing to say you saw. And
yeah.
you got a little glimpse into the world of a super celebrity.
I got to butt shine Will Smith's car.
So, anything else before we say goodbye to our viewers and goodbye to Fan Expo for this year?
I know, I don't want to. I'm still not ready, man.
Well, too bad. You're on time.
I know. No, I would say that if you are looking for a Comic-Con style convention to go to, save parking. Do not park in Toronto. We've already established this.
It might be cheaper to just park illegally and pay the ticket.
Seriously. Oh my goodness. But if you have the means, I would super recommend Fan Expo. I found it to be more accessible than like Comic-Con New York City.
Although the Comic-Con New York City, when you can't fucking park at, it's just a block.
Yeah, no, you can't
City
park
block
that way.
building.
But if you have the means, I had a very enjoyable time at Fan Expo. I obviously went more for the horror aspect. Oh, I did hang out with the 501st on Sunday, which was awesome. Oh, my total Star Wars nerded it up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's better than us at work where we watched episodes 1, 2, and 3 because somebody hates us.
Wow, what did you do?
I don't know, but they decided we're going to watch all 6 of them. And I'm like, well, no, let's just watch.
Let's just watch the other ones.
Yeah. We're finally making the movie 4, though, thank God.
Yeah, no, they had the entire Canadian 501st there. It was crazy, cool. And it was awesome. But yeah, like I said, there's tons of stuff that I'm overlooking, but it's not a big deal. But I would say, again, if you're looking for something to go to, the nice thing about this one is that the convention wraps up at like 6 or 7 o'clock. Like, there's after party stuff to do, but as far as the big crowds of people, like, you can get out of that for a bit. And I found it, like other conventions, it's very hard to do. Like New York Comic-Con is just...
The stuff at midnight, yeah, it's...
nuts. And that might be a turnoff for some people, but really I found, like, you can get just about everything you want done there.
And I kind of like the idea of things shutting down around 7, so that if you go there with friends or go there to meet friends, now you've got the whole evening to do stuff with them instead of fighting over, we got to do this panel, we got to do this midnight screening. Exactly.
And I found it very enjoyable. And maybe that's another sign that I'm getting way too fucking old for this shit.
Yes. So, any last words?
Yes. Everybody should do Klingon karaoke all the time.
And good night. Thanks for watching.